Okay, hello beautiful people. How is everybody? I said to myself I wanted to do a vlog in one of these forests. So what I've done is I've just borrowed one of the pathways out of a session I'm going to do in the future. Because I don't have a lot of time, I thought I'd just grab one out and try and elaborate it off the cuff. I haven't written it out and I haven't written out its points, but basically it's to do with self-happiness. I mean, our lives should all be about happiness, our own personal happiness, not those around us. We've got to start with ourselves. We've got to be happy. And so we've got to get that established, and so many of us don't. Do they? Do we? And I'm not saying I have, I'm just saying, what's life about if not to have contentment and happiness? Whoops. So what I'm trying to say is trying to memorize or remember what the point was in my little voice recorder. Basically, it's if there's anything in your life that's a problem, a continual problem, a continual problem, we're going to get rid of it. Why are we still in that situation? Whatever it is, ditch it and move on. And that means even if sleeping in your car, even if it's going to sleep in your car, if that's going to give you happiness, do it. I'm going to experiment with that just to see what it's like. I'm identifying problems of stress or unhappiness, and I'm walking away. Whatever they are, I'm getting out, because I don't want it. Life's too short, especially at my age, 55. I don't want to have any situation, anything or any person in my life that's a problem. Why would I at 55 when I'm running out of time? I can't muck around anymore. This is paradise. It's like something I keep saying out of a movie, but I can't think of any other description. Anyway, so we've got to ditch first step is to identify what the problem is, or what the problems are, and then find ways to detach from those problems. If it's your job, leave it. And you can always do that. Like I said, the solution is to go and live in your car. If your job's giving you misery, go and live in your car. Plenty of people are doing it. We've got a free ticket to go and do that. You won't get in trouble, and you'll have all this spare time on your hands, because you won't have to go to work if your job sucks. You don't have to go to work as much, at least. Maybe you could get on the dole and just live on that in your car just for a while. Especially at my age, I'm going through a year of collecting myself, stopping, pausing, asking myself, what have I done? Where am I going? Why am I going there? How do I feel? And any stress I'm trying to disassociate from. And I think at my age, if anybody's got to my age and hasn't done that, they need to. I'm stopping and I'm clearing my head of what I've done. Like I say, what I've done, where I've been, where I'm going. And I'm trying to get rid of any stress. And stopping and reflecting is the only way to do that. But I don't know if all of us do stop and reflect of where we've been, where we're going, what we've done. Living cheaply can help achieve that. Here on this trip, I'm constantly stopping and saying, do I really need to buy that? Like, it's 1 o'clock and I haven't eaten today. And I don't need to keep eating anyway, so it's a good way to save money. And I don't know, it's hard for me to think clearly, to be honest, with all this around me, but you know, to summarise it or to sum it up or to pinpoint it, if anything's giving you unhappiness, if you don't find you're happy, identify the things that are making you unhappy, the things or the people or the situation, whatever it is, and get rid of it with love, with a friendly vibe. And what we want to do is gather contentment. I don't like to use the word happiness because happiness, what is happiness, you know, but contentment. I think happiness can only be sporadically through the day or through the week, you know, real happiness. Happiness to me involves laughing and stuff. But contentment can be, hello. Hi. But contentment can be every day, every minute, every second, every minute, every hour. Contentment. And some of my last vlogs have given stepping stones on how to achieve it. Not that I'm an expert, I'm not trying to make it like I am, it's just my reflections of how to get it, my personal ideas that I want to share. And it's just a lovely place to be, is in a mind of contentment. One of the things I've done is gotten rid of caffeine. Caffeine's a stimulant, and you can't fully relax if you're under the influence of a drug. That's what caffeine is. It's a stimulant drug. And I think I've said it before, I think to be contented, you need to be relaxed for it to sustain itself. So think about that. I know people don't want to hear that, but I think it's a first basic step. So just really give it a try. If you can, it's addictive. And then, like I say, the next steps are identifying problem areas. And if it means sleeping in your car, then so be it, at least for a while, to clear our heads and to give us time to stop and reflect. That's what I'm doing soon, and it's going to be great. There was more I was going to go on about with this point, but I just can't think of it. Like I said, if I write these things down and look at the little note, I'd be able to rehash it, but I just can't think of it, so I might throw them in the next vlog I do. So that's it. I'll keep it short, I guess. But just remember, life should be about contentment in the second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour process of each day, and while we're sleeping. Happy dreams too. But I think to reach or to attain contentment, or any semblance of contentment, it's a collection of concepts that we've got to be aware of. And not all of us are. And I'm certainly not. Concepts come to me all the time, and that's what these videos are for. And once you realise them, it's like, oh wow, okay. You know, manners, courtesy, respect, that's another stepping stone or pathway, I should say, for contentment. Just that human relation, that human relationship that we should all have with each other, that you get a lot here in America. I find people so friendly and courteous, you know. I really love the way they have about them. There's a lot to learn from travelling. This is unbelievable. It's just so magical to be here. Apparently Return of the Jedi was filmed in one of these woods, or one of these forests, north of here. I can't think of what it's called. I wrote it down. It's on the map, but I just can't. It's not coming to me. Little brother has gone back because Mum's in the car, and he's going to meet me back at the Tourist Information Centre, which isn't too far apparently. Look at this. I'm really trying to connect with this place. I should have shoes. I'm going to put them on, but these are just so much easier to put on. But if you're going to do hiking, which I want to do hiking, you want to have shoes on. Not in the car, but on your feet. Yeah, so alright, well that's it. I can't think to elaborate any more on that. Hopefully you get my point of what I'm trying to say. And you know, thinking about it, and me talking about it, and you listening to it, isn't enough. You've got to do it. And some things feel too difficult to do. But when it comes to your contentment, your life's contentment, you know, finding out who you are, being who you are, who you really are, what your real likes are, or are we just reflections of others' expectations, you know, our culture's expectations, for example, or our family's expectations, or our friends' expectations, or our wife or our partner's expectations, or our children's expectations. It's important for us to try and identify. I think that's probably the root of contentment, is trying to find out, and it can take a lifetime, unlayering who we really are, and not be scared to realise who we are. You know, I think we've all got different personalities, and not be scared of who we are. I think I'm a bit of a softie, as they would say, and I love being a softie, for lack of a better word. You know, I really do, and I don't give a fuck who agrees with it or who doesn't. I get so much enjoyment out of the simple things in life. There you go, and that's probably on one of my vlogs, is I'm probably going to mention enjoying the simple things in life. If we can learn to enjoy the simple things in life, we don't have to spend so much time at work chasing the complicated things in life. Think about that. I better move on a little bit. So yeah, going without a bit means not spending so much money. It means not having to work as much. Keeping life simple, like 2/3 of the world keep life simple. And I think if we did a survey, those same 2/3 of the world would probably be the happiest. I reckon that'd be a fact. Based on what I've seen and what I've lived in my home country, we've got a lot of cranky individuals where I come from. But why are they cranky? I reckon it's because of the stress and the load they're under, or that they've put themselves under. And I was one of them. But not anymore, and I don't give a shit who agrees or disagrees with it. In my personal life. Hello. You know, I don't care. I'm going to be me, and I love me, I really do. So, what's the problem? And I endeavour to do the right thing in life by people, by animals. So, I mean, I can't do much more than that. And doing that, you know, really does help give me contentment. And I think contentment is another name for a clear conscience, possibly. I don't know. Look at this. See how big this is. Look at that. Oh, right. It's just unbelievable. And like I said, this looks like it's perfect. It's almost as if it's been created by us. It looks like it's been created for a movie set. I mean, where I come from, well, I don't know. I don't want to compare. Obviously, we don't have anything like this, but we have some beautiful forests too. But I don't know. This is just something else, and it makes me quite emotional just identifying that and talking about it. And I think that's a good thing. Emotion and being conscious of our emotions is a wonderful thing. I mean, are we all connected to ourselves emotionally, especially as men? I know we're not connected to ourselves. I know we're not connected to ourselves emotionally anywhere near as good as well as women are. And I think we would have a higher suicide rate. I mean, a lot of my pathways are really possibly aimed towards men. In the West, we've got a real toxic, I think there's a toxic underlining lot of crap that goes on, and it's robbing men of their contentment. And that's coming up in other videos. And I don't want to be one of those suckers. I'm out of that crap. Stick it fair up your ass. This is what it's all about. And it's all about flowers and birds. And last night we saw an otter. Literally at the end of this little yacht deck, with a fish in its mouth trying to get up onto the deck. And then I've got it in a video I'm going to post on this holiday. Then we saw a skunk. I bought me big powerful head torch, and there's this beautiful skunk, this amazing little creature. See, and there's a lot of men, I'm sure, out there that'd be too good for a skunk. It'd be like, oh, that dirty thing, or that thing, or shoot it, or you know what I mean? Well, that's all toxic shit. I was just blown away by this majestical, beautiful little being. It wouldn't let us get too close. And then when she finally moved on, she crossed this car park and she was walking. Hi, mate. She was walking. As she walked across this car park, it was a dance. It wasn't a walk. With a little tail right up in the air. And it was just magical to witness. I didn't video that, unfortunately. It's just a damn shame that I don't. Some people hiding in the tree back there would have heard me talking about toxic masculinity. Anyway, they were literally in the tree. I didn't see them. Fucking hell! I'm blown away by this shit. Look at it. It's just perfect. Did I say Return of the Jedi was shot in a forest similar to this, but further north? Courtney was saying he's curious why more movies aren't shot in places like this. Anyway, my point with the skunk, I mean, I'm just loving, wildlife, especially here. I wish I lived here for a while. I'm going to try and come back here regularly if I can afford to in the future. And just see different parts, But having those wildlife encounters, actually, if we go further north, there's going to be killer whales. We might be able to go kayaking with killer whales. That's up near Vancouver Island. We'll see. I'm open to wherever we go. I have a plan. But the other two aren't so keen on it because they've probably seen it a little bit more than I have. So I'm like, oh, that's okay, whatever. I don't care where we go. Wherever we go, I've never seen before. And we're doing it cheap, the three of us splitting everything. If 3 or 4 friends or family can get together, you can go on holidays overseas and just split the tabs 4 ways, which is what we're doing, 3 ways in our case. And it makes it so much more affordable. And then if you don't spend your money too easily, it makes it even more affordable. Last night we parked out front of a pub or bar, and we tossed and turned whether we were going to go in, and we concluded, well, if we go in, let's say we have 2 beers each, there's 20 American dollars each, which is 30 Australian dollars. There's $60. $60 Australian for 2 beers each. And we said, well, we've got beers back at the motel room or hotel room. Let's just go back there. So we did. And that $60 saving, and then the next $60 saving, and the next $50 saving on crap I don't need, really, means I don't have to go back to work so quickly. Alright, I better wrap this up. I've got somebody coming behind me. And I could go on and on, I suppose. So and they're probably waiting for me back there. So I'll wrap it up. Everybody have a great day. Everybody have a great day, and I'll talk to you when I'm doing an official Pathways, which I think from memory will be Pathways 8. I'll post it on Facebook and then I'll post it on YouTube. Alright. Goodbye for now.